An Antarctic expedition uncovers a buried alien ship, triggering dormant psychic powers in the team. What they awaken will change humanity forever. Dive into this thrilling sci-fi tale of discovery, danger, and transformation. The icy wind howled across the frozen plains of Antarctica, tearing at the tents of the isolated research base like invisible claws. It was the coldest season in the coldest place on Earth. Dr. Evelyn Ross adjusted her thermal goggles, squinting through the near-blinding snow. The satellite image from earlier that month still played in her mind, a massive symmetrical anomaly deep beneath the ice, unlike any natural formation they'd seen before. Ross was the lead geophysicist on this multinational expedition, funded in part by shadowy private investors and backed by several global scientific organizations. It wasn't until the radar team picked up strange electromagnetic pulses emanating from the anomaly that the mission's priorities shifted from geological research to something far more mysterious. Day 12 of the dig, and her team had unearthed something solid, not rock or permafrost, but metal. Smooth, blackened, almost warm to the touch despite the sub-zero temperatures. They dug feverishly now, not just with machines but with their hands when needed. Anticipation had taken hold of them all. The first breach into the structure came with a deafening crack. The ground beneath the entrance site vibrated faintly, and a low hum began to emanate from the exposed section. The sound wasn't loud, but it seemed to nestle directly into their skulls. Some of the younger researchers backed away in fear. Others, like Ross, leaned in closer, mesmerized. Inside, the walls curved in unnatural ways, almost organic in design. They glistened, as if covered in some bioluminescent resin. No frost coated them. No condensation formed. The temperature was inexplicably warm. Ross and her small core team, Dr. Miles Grant, a cognitive neuroscientist, Lei Zhang, a linguist and semiotics expert, and Jason Ruiz, a military liaison, entered the alien vessel without knowing they would never return as the same people. As they delved deeper, the ship began responding. Lights flared softly along the walls, tracing their movement. Doorways opened without touch. What seemed like energy fields pulsed in distant chambers. The hum intensified, and so did the sensations, mild headaches, strange dreams, moments of inexplicable déjà vu. By day 20, the changes became impossible to ignore. Ross began hearing voices, not out loud, but thoughts that weren't hers. Grant reported sudden vivid memories of places he'd never been. Zhang spoke fluently in languages she had never studied. Ruiz, trained to resist panic, began experiencing waking visions of future events, some of which occurred hours later, exactly as he had seen them. Ross started documenting everything. Video diaries, EEG scans, MRI tests on herself and the others. The data was inconclusive, but the patterns were clear. Something in the ship had awakened dormant aspects of the human mind, psychic abilities long theorized but never proven. And it wasn't random. The ship was teaching them. In one chamber, they found a control room, or what they assumed to be one. The walls were covered in glowing symbols, shifting geometrically with every hour. Zhang believed it was a form of communication, and slowly, she began deciphering them. "It's not a language," she said one night, her eyes hollow from lack of sleep. "It's a neural code. It's rewriting us." Ross didn't understand at first. Then she realized Zhang wasn't speaking metaphorically. Their neural patterns were changing. The ship was upgrading their cognition, unlocking capabilities humans had long since lost or never developed. Outside, the support crew noticed the changes too. The core team stopped sleeping, stopped eating, yet their energy never waned. They became distant, often staring into the distance for long periods. One night, a young technician tried to sabotage the excavation, terrified of what he called the whispers in the wind. He claimed the ship was alive, and it was calling to them. Ross couldn't deny that anymore. On day 27, the ship opened its heart. A central chamber, sealed until then, unlocked itself. Inside floated a crystal structure suspended in midair. It pulsed with brilliant colors no human eye had ever seen. Each of them felt something surge inside them the moment they entered. A connection, like threads being woven through time and thought. Ross touched it, and the moment she did, she saw everything. Not with her eyes, but with her consciousness. A vision poured into her mind, a memory not her own. A civilization far older than Earth, spreading across galaxies, seeking intelligence. They seeded planets, not just with matter but with potential. They left behind ships like this one to awaken those who had matured enough to receive the gift. Humans were one such species. But it was not just a gift. It was a test. The ship activated a global beacon the moment Ross touched the core. Hidden satellites under ocean beds and deserts around the planet responded. Somewhere in the Amazon, another signal activated. In the Sahara, seismic detectors registered unknown movements. And in low Earth orbit, several classified satellites went dark all at once. The team was changing rapidly now. Ruiz could stop a man mid-step by willing it. Grant could predict a person's next 10 words. Zhang didn't speak at all anymore. She communicated telepathically, her voice slipping into the minds of those around her. The base outside the ship became uneasy. Messages were sent to governments. Reinforcements were dispatched. But the ship would not be taken. On day 34, the ship lifted itself from the ice. Not upward, but outward, expanding, growing, shifting its geometry. Its interior chambers folded into dimensions that couldn't be mapped. The team within had already passed through. Ross and the others stood at the center, now less human than ever before. Their bodies remained intact, but their minds had transcended. They heard each other's thoughts across space. They spoke in images and emotion. They no longer needed words or tools. They were part of the ship now, or perhaps it was part of them. Then came the vision, the Earth itself, pulsing like a living mind, surrounded by others just like it. Each ship, long buried, now awakening. Each planet with its own chosen. Some failed. Some fell to war and fear. But Earth had succeeded. And then came the decision. They had the power to reshape thought, society, evolution. But the alien architects had left no instructions. Only the gift. Only the door. Ross stood before her old reflection one last time, in the surface of the crystal chamber. She saw herself, but not as she had been. She saw the collective of minds she now shared, a network of potential. They chose not to reveal themselves to the world just yet. Instead, the ship collapsed inward, taking the team into a space outside time. The beacon remained hidden, silently watching. Back at the base, the rest of the crew found nothing but a vast hollow in the ice. No vrecage, no bares, no trace. The world never learned what truly happened there. Only rumors, classified files, and whispered warnings among intelligence communities. But around the globe, children began drawing strange shapes. Artists painted visions they'd never seen. Sleepwalkers muttered coordinates in their dreams. The psychic pulse had begun to spread, slowly, subtly, invisibly. The age of silence was over. The stars were watching again. And Earth had answered.